Hello guys, and welcome to my tier list of the Terraforming Mars Colonies corporations. Today I'm not only going to rank the corps from the Colonies expansion, but also update the placement of the corps from the base game, Preludes and Venus Next, based on the changes introduced with Colonies. That's why you already see the other corps placed here. To see my reasoning behind that, click the link to my tier list playlist in the top left corner or in the description. Let's start with Mining Guild. Mining Guild's strength is heavily reliant on having tile placement cards, either special tiles, city or greenery cards, or ocean placement cards. With every expansion, the percentage of these cards shrinks, and with Colonies I finally think I should drop Mining Guild down to B tier. This corp is just too weak doing other strategies. Thorgate gets a huge bonus in Colonies. For this corp it is extremely easy to get the 3 power prod, and therefore being able to trade with electricity starting in the 2nd gen. If you don't have the right cards, you can even afford to use the standard project power plant. I will move Thorgate up to B tier. But be aware, this placement relies somewhat on the strength of the colony tiles you play with. With Colonies, new floater cards get introduced, and therefore you are playing with a greater variety and percentage of them. This helps Celestic enormously, and much more often you will get crazy combos going. I will move up this corp to A tier, but it's definitely on the verge to B tier. Terraforming Mars was already one of the weaker S tier corps, and with Colonies the percentage of building techs shrinked again, as only 3 new ones were introduced. So I think Terraforming should be moved down to A tier, but is still an amazing corp. Let's get to our first Colonies corporation, Aridor. Aridor starts with 40 mega credits, and as your first action you are allowed to place a colony tile. It has no tags, and its ability reads: when you get a new type of tag in play, event cards do not count, increase your mega credit production 1 step. 40 mega credits is average, and choosing an extra colony tile can be helpful, but often you don't have a specific one in mind that you really like. What makes this corp so strong is its ability. Often you end the 1st gen with more than 5 mega credit production for free, which is insanely strong. Especially with Preludes, this can get out of hand easily. I don't have much to say other than look for new tags, cards with multiple tags especially. Also, this corp has an extreme incentive to rush towards Diversifier. Aridor is S tier for me, as there is in my opinion no other corp that can get such a great economy boost for free, just from its ability. Let's get to our first animal corporation, Arklight. It starts with 45 mega credits and 2 mega credit production. It has an animal tag, and its ability reads: when you play an animal or plant tag, including this, add 1 animal to this card. Also, the corp gives you 1 point for every 2 animals on it. This might be the most boring corp of this generation. 45 mega credits is average, and 2 mega credit production is actually quite good. The ability though is kinda underwhelming. Sure, if you play a lot of plant and animal tags you will accumulate some points, but how many? There are 39 plant or animal tags in the game without turmoil, but most of them have high restrictions, meaning you would play them in the mid to late game. That means, whenever you're deciding whether to pick this corp, you would not keep most of the cards that synergize with it. On another note, this corp only really excels at claiming Ecologist. All other milestones are kinda hard to get. So all in all, I would place this corp in C tier. It's alright, but nothing special. Let's start with Polyphemos. This corp has 50 mega credits, 5 mega credit production and 5 titanium. It starts with no tags, and its ability reads: when you buy a card to hand, pay 5 mega credits instead of 3, including the starting hand. This is for sure one of the most controversial corps and one of the few select corps that have an ability that actually hurts the corp. Let's do a hypothetical calculation. Let's say you buy on average 2 cards in every draft. This means you would pay 4 mega credits extra in each gen. This leaves you with 1 mega credit production, 65 combined capital, and a generic corp. And with this assumption, we ignore the starting 10 cards. So all in all, it doesn't seem like Polyphemos brings anything to the table, as there are other corps that are also quite rich but have a useful ability. Of course, you can adapt your playstyle and focus on big cards where the 2 mega credit increase in cost is smaller percentage wise. But still, in my opinion, Polyphemos is only viable in 2 select cases. A. the colony tile Pluto is in play and you have a reliable way to increase your power prod immediately, or B, you have strong card draw potential on hand, like Development Center, Restricted Area, or even a way to AI Central. In these cases, Polyphemos is still nothing special, it's just passable, so all in all, Polyphemos is F tier in my opinion. I think it is stronger than Splice, and also quite interesting to play, as it requires you to plan your game totally different. But from a power standpoint, it is really underwhelming. Now let's get to Poseidon. With Poseidon, you start with 45 mega credits, and as your first action, you can place a colony. It has no tax, and its ability reads, when any colony is placed, including this, raise your mega credit production one step. The strength of Polyphemos heavily relies on the colony tiles that are in the game. Luna and Pluto, for example, usually get a lot of traffic, which makes colonies on them profitable for our players. And Poseidon profits from that, of course. But there are also colony tiles like Enceladus or Io that of course can be really useful in many cases, but usually get less traffic, so there are also less colonies placed on them. But how much value can you expect from Poseidon's ability? In my experience, between 2 and 10 colonies are placed in a game, depending on player count, tempo, and quality of the available colony tiles. Usually these colonies get placed in the early to mid game, which is certainly good. But compare this to Aridor, with which you often get 5 or even more free mega credit production in the first gen. All in all, I think of Poseidon's bonus as average. It certainly helps, but it is not game changing. The free colony at the start of the game is very good, especially if there are value planets in a game like Ceres or Luna. You'll just start with a production boost, which is certainly nice. Overall, B tier for me. Now let's get to the last corporation of today's video, and probably my least favorite one, Stormcraft. With Stormcraft you start with 48 mega credits, you have a Jovian tag, and your ability reads, add a floater to any card, and as an effect you can use floaters on this card as 2 heat each. To rate this corp, of course I have to compare it to Celestic, the other floater corp. Stormcraft starts with a little bit more money, which is of course an upside. Both corps can put floaters on the corp itself, but in both cases this is suboptimal. Almost all floater cards provide better payoff, be it points, economy or TR. But in contrast to Celestic, Stormcraft is completely reliant on its starting 10 cards. If you don't have good floater cards, then this corp basically just starts with 2 heat production. Underwhelming at best. With Celestic you can at least hope to draw 2 good floater cards, and if you already have 1 or 2 floater cards in hand, the extra 2 can set up insane combos. You have to keep in mind that selectively drawing cards with the same theme is better than just blindly drawing cards. This makes MSI better than Inventrix and Celestic better than Stormcraft. Also, Stormcraft of course has a very easy path to Hoverlord. But still, this corpse belongs in C tier in my opinion. Thanks for watching today's video on the Colonies corporations. Do you agree with my ratings? Let me know in the comments, and also, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video and consider subscribing. See you in the next video.